Okay, we're back, and before I start getting to some building, I figured I'd share a couple things with you. I finally broke down and went on Aircraft Spruce's website and bought myself a Longeron yoke for my squeezer. This thing was $153 Canadian, plus shipping, of course, and kind of something I've been wanting to get my hands on for a while. It seems to be a pretty popular addition to the arsenal, as it lets you dimple and squeeze things that have flanges. So I'm looking forward to using this. I did buy some quick change pins, but as you can see, they're incorrect. The diameter of these are 1/4 inch, and the holes here are 3/8, so they're not going to work. They were only $7, not a big deal, but so talking to Aircraft Spruce about that. I've had a bunch of people ask me questions about this thing here, and where I got it or how I made it, and there's not really too much to it. It's a couple pieces of what looks like 1.5 inch angle. Let's see here. Yeah, basically 1.5 inch angle iron. When I bought this squeezer used, and it came with this yoke and just the angle iron here. And the gentleman who had it before me basically drilled some holes into his bench and fastened it to his bench. I didn't want to put any holes in this, and I didn't really see the need, so I just put it on a bit of a bigger base here. Looks like just some 3/16 kind of plate I had kicking around, and just TIG welded the angle to it. And I mean, it's an angle with a spacer. And that spacer is just basically the same diameter, or I'm sorry, width as the yoke width. And then we have a couple nuts with some socket head screws welded to the side. So I mean, I know probably not an easy project for a lot of people to tackle, because there's some tooling required, of course. But I do believe that this is available. I will try to find out which website I've seen it on, at least just the angle iron portion, and if I find it, I'll put that in the link as a link below. But it does look like it's still going to work with the new yoke, which is good to know. And as you can see, it's just going to get pinched by these 2 bolts, and that's really basically about that. So I'm just going to go ahead and throw this thing on, as I'm pretty sure it won't interfere with anything else I've been doing. I haven't really needed the entire throat of this quite yet. This is a 3-inch. There are 4 inches available. There are thin noses available that some people use, and I can see the benefits to that, where you're not able to put a rivet set or a dimple die in it, but you are able to set rivets, and that would come in handy when you're in tight quarters like this, for example, or the tail edge of trailing edges. If you had to set a rivet in there and you could just barely get a squeezer in there, that would really be a lot nicer than trying to get a bucking bar in there. So I'm gonna go ahead and swap this yoke over, and then we'll get started with some more building. Okay, pretty easy to change these things over. I've undone the nuts on the back side here, so I'm just going to pull my 3/8 bolts out, like so, and just slowly work it out. I do have an adjustable set in there, and it's okay if the set comes out with. I mean, that's what this guy looks like here. That's the adjustable set holders. You can screw that up and down. Really easy. That's going to go back in. Here's my yoke that's been removed. Perfect. And same deal, I'm going to take my Longeron yoke and get my set in there. And a bolt goes in, and another bolt goes in, and that's it. Now we're just going to get some nuts on, tighten it up, we're good to go. And there you have it, all installed, all tight, in the bench mount, with the dimple die in there, or for that matter, any of the accessories you might have. As my accessory kind of stash here. You know, I just got a piece of plexiglass, got a little bit of organization. So these are all your kind of flat sets for actually setting rivets. Various dimple dies for screws, different rivet sizes. Try to keep everything labeled as best I can. And that's it. So it's a nice little addition to the toolbox. Trim tab and bend over. So this is an old trim tab, but obviously you can see this is how it comes from Vans, and you are supposed to bend this tab over. As you can see, the edge distance from that hole was too close, and that posed an issue, and it was really difficult to bend this up. I know some people have done this with no problem, so I opted to cut mine off. Remember I posted another video, I kind of pre-bent this guy up. I used spar material because that's what I had kicking around, and it was just really thick and really difficult to work with, and it's close. It's really close, but I'm not really happy with the root back here, and the root's a little just too wide, so I've made myself a little paper template. And it's basically it's you know, it's a 1/4 inch back here, and so I have a thinner piece of material, which is this bunged up trim tab. So it's the perfect material actually, and I'm just going to rough cut this out on the bandsaw and attempt bending it up. Disregard this line right here. I'm going to try to use these holes if at all possible, just because they're there and they're perfectly spaced out. And if this doesn't work out, I have lots of more material to make another one out of. I am going to have to make, I guess, 3 of these. One for here, one for down there, and then one for in the elevator as well. But once I get the procedure kind of down, I'm sure the next ones will go much easier. So for now, let's get this cut out on the bandsaw. Okay, so there's kind of our template. Now I got to figure out a way of bending that perfectly. And I think I'm going to start with drilling holes in the 4 corners here to form as a crack relief. So let's go ahead and do that next. Okay. Well, there's our rough blank. Let's get this deburred over on the wheel real quick, and then we'll try to bend it up. Hopefully we didn't do all this work for nothing. Okay, so this is kind of what I'm thinking I'm going to try, but it's only going to work for one side of this rib here. So I have this chunk of 3/4 inch aluminum that I just use as a heat sink while I'm welding sometimes. And I'm going to use that as a bending die block. So I have this guy set up here. I got this 1/4 inch piece of aluminum flat bar. I'm going to kind of clamp down here. And then I think I'm going to go for a piece of hardwood or something. See if I can fold that over, get that first crease folded over all at once. So there it is all clamped down. I don't really have much in the middle. We'll see how this works. Hopefully I don't destroy it. Let's take it out and have a look. Turned out pretty good. Nice tight root. All right. That's the easy side. So now what we have to do here is set it up the opposite way. Okay, check it out. So here's my dilemma, as I'm sure most of you already saw. So for this bend, I'm going to set this up like so. Clamp it from the other side and then fold this side over. Now, because of this root right here, that's only what I had spec'd out to be 1/4 inch. Now, I kind of overbent this side a little bit, but this is 1/4 inch thick aluminum. So what I'm going to do is basically nestle this in on the wedge, but bring this up to our bend line. If you can kind of, let's see if you can see. So it's going to be set up like so. And I'm just going to shave down the nose right here just a little bit so we're in good shape. But the clamp's not going to want to stay. So just real quick, I'm just going to cut off a piece of this flat bar and weld a little tab right here just so I have something for the clamp to grab to. It's not amazing, it's not pretty, but I think it's gonna do what we need it to do. I just need a 1/4 inch clamp along the seam. Here's my setup. You see I just welded this guy up. So now I just have a standoff at the back. So my rib is in there. And if I come around to the front half, we got our bend portion that's sticking out. You can kind of see my kind of relief circles. I'm trying to get it as nice tight as I can. If I come over kind of to this profile, you can see that the 1/4 inch material is going to form the inside of that bend. So hopefully this whole setup doesn't completely explode once I start hammering away at it. Wish me luck. Checking if there's any adjustment I need to do here. Looks like things have slid a little bit. Still think we're in good shape though, guys. Whoops. Oh, we slid quite a lot now. Try to bring it back. Just make sure this clamp's nice and tight. Okay, well, last little bit. Well, definitely slid on me, but I think we did okay. Let's see. Well, there you have it. It looks pretty good actually, guys. I don't really like the scratches on there, but we might be able to Scotch-Brite them out. It's not a critical piece of the aircraft, but we still don't want to be promoting any cracks. Okay, check it out. So it fits, but it's still an epic failure. I'm really happy with actually how it fits in there, right? And it looks really nice. It'll be so nice and clean once that's in. And we got a couple pop rivets in there. But epic fail with me trying to use existing holes in this thing. I mean, I guess it was a good idea in theory, but, well, really silly, because obviously there are holes I need to pick up on in there. So, is this a waste? Maybe. I'm going to try to use it either in here or in the elevator side of the airplane. Even if I can punch new holes in between these, I'll still be really happy with that. So yeah, not gonna work out for here, but like I said, the profile is the same on the little end there, but still same profile. I mean, this still fits in here really nicely. If I were to cut it, it would fit perfectly, and vice versa. So the template is good. The bending jig seems to be working. I'm sure I can improve upon this a little bit. I might actually incorporate the dead leg in already, so when it's clamped, this guy will just be welded like so. Gives it some more stability and kind of really 3 points of contact to clamp down on. And I mean, in a perfect world, if you could have some registers of some sort on this leading edge, kind of extend this out, have some dowel pins so there's no way it could slide back. I mean, that would be amazing. But I might actually turn this into a press brake too. Just get another piece of 3/4 inch aluminum and some hinges right here, and then have it so I can utilize various clamps here. If I just wanted a straight bend, I could just put a straight piece of, steel on here, clamp down and bend away, and then vice versa. If I want a rib or something, I can have these really nice high hold downs that give me the clearance needed by flipping things upside down. So I think it worked out pretty good all in all. Now I just need to make 2 more. So I've just marked my cut for the elevator side of the trim tab closing. That should do it. Okay, well, there's the one in there. Fits pretty good. Now all we got to do is cut out 2 more and bend them up and cut them to length. When we have it, guys. Quarter-inch root. Okay, there we have it. There's our 2 more. No holes. Let's get them fitted up. Well, I got them all cut, got them all fitted up. Here's the elevator. I don't know exactly why I cut that little cutout at the bottom, but I wanted to tie that one into the spar, which is why I have those tabs kind of sticking up. And I mean, it tightens up real good. And then this little guy's in place. And then the big guy. kind of tough to see, but so the bottom isn't laying as flat as you would think because we have some dimples on the inside of the spar that are causing some grief. And I am going to try to utilize those holes. 1, 2, 3. I'm just trying to figure out how I'm going to actually rivet those in. I might have to just use that one and maybe drill one in this area down here and just use some pop rivets as well as pop rivet the top side, because it might be very difficult to get these bucked, and I'm pretty sure I'm not going to be able to swap these out for pop rivets as they're structural, and I don't want my trim tab bell crank mount ripping off. So we're not going to fool around with this area. I might give Vans a call and see what they say. A little bit of deburring left to do. All in all, I'm happy with the progress. I'm probably going to cut this tab off. It kind of looks alright there, but I don't see any point to it. I'm not going to tie it into the front of the spar. I think that's just overkill. And I've spent a lot of time on this area. You know, this is probably the slowest empennage kit in Vans' history. And you know, I still have another elevator to build. But I did tackle the pain in the ass elevator first. So the next one should really fly by. I know all my stiffeners are ready to go, so that's good. But I still have to match drill the skin. And then it'll kind of just be getting that one together. And we'll get another kit here for you guys to check out. So this was kind of a tough part of the project because I opted to go away from the plans by not bending these tabs over. I gotta say, you know, when you hear about people saying every time you stray away from the plans, it's gonna add some time. And it definitely does, because there's a lot of thinking you need to put into these kind of mods, even though a bunch of people have already done it. This is a perfect example. Like, what is this conglomeration? I had to kind of bojangle up here just so I could bend a rib. If I had to do this again, I would make this twice as long. I would also... This is only good for one side. And you have to really be careful to make sure that when you're bending these, that the last one you bend is the right side. Because if you bend the one side first, well then this just isn't going to work. So in theory, I guess there's a left and right to this bending jig. And I would make it twice as long, so then I could use half of it for one side and half of it for another side. I'm probably never going to use this again. I don't know. I might turn that big giant block of aluminum into a press brake just for this kind of stuff that really doesn't require a lot of force, but a great deal of precision. So there's that. And really, with all the effort I put into this, if I just put that amount of effort into bending the skin properly, as Vans wanted it done, I probably could have made that happen. But anyway, hindsight's 20/20. Would I do the riblets again in the future? I don't know. What I would do is I would try to do this one the way Vans wanted it done, so I don't have to fool with any of this stuff right here. But all the other ones, yeah, they're easy. Because I just throw it in, and a couple pop rivets, bam, that one's done. Same thing with this. Throw it in, a couple pop rivets, done. This has got a lot of business going on in here. And so now I have a lot of thinking to do how I'm going to tie this in. And again, this is not really structural, but at the same time it has to prevent this. So really, how much do I need to prevent that? Is one at the front and one at the back enough? Probably not. I'd like to maybe grab just one. I might call Vans and see if I can use maybe a Cherry Max or something in this hole, so I don't have to get to the back side of it, so it's structural and convenient. But again, this is what happens when you're dealing with straying from the plans. There are guys that have made this happen. You know, those tabs are there for a reason. Because a quick little bend and you're laughing. So we got 3 pop rivets there. So it is bracing the tab quite a bit, especially on the big end. There's potential for a bunch of flex there. Anyways, I'm going to stop this video here. Thanks very much for joining me. And it's been a lot of fun, you know, building this. I'm sorry it's taken so long to get to this point, but like I said, you know, life has to come first for me. Building is, you know, often not even second, but third. It's kind of one of those things where eventually I'm going to get this thing done. I might have to buy my way ahead a little bit, maybe with some quick build kits, and take some of the monotony out of it. But for the most part, I'm kind of happy with the quality of work that's been going on. And that's kind of more important to me because it's, you know, safety is paramount and #1 for me. So this might be a good time to bring up, I'm starting a Patreon account, and it's basically going to be to help me out putting these videos out for you guys. It's a lot of time and work and effort to set up cameras and edit and whatnot. Most of you already know that YouTube is completely cut off any incentives for those of us who don't have them hundreds of thousands of subscribers, like all the awesome channels we watch on YouTube, ABomb79, SV Seeker, all those guys. So a little bit on Patreon would help me out, even if it's you know, $1 a video or something like that. If you guys are enjoying the videos and they're informative for you, it's a pretty niche kind of select of people that I'm doing this for, but I think there's some value to actually tackling certain individual problems that will pop up, if not in these areas, with other parts of the build. I'm just helping you guys out, and we're all learning together. Keep on building. I hope you guys are great. Cheers.